We have an update. Remember the story of the young black male who was choked by the older white male. Remember that story? We have an update now. Let me remind you of the video. Here it is.
Hey,
Sold.
I'm recording you. Let go of the man's
ahead.
neck.
Record.
Let go of his neck. He's not going anywhere.
Stole a bike right out of a friend of mine's yard.
Let go of his neck. Let go of his neck. Let go of his neck. Okay, you're fine. You ain't gotta hold his neck.
I didn't touch it. I did touch it.
One of this kid over here, one of his friends stole a bike right out of a friend of mine's yard.
Yeah, I'm for real. I put on God. I didn't touch it.
Yeah.
You ain't gotta touch his neck like that, bro. He a kid.
Yeah, right in the middle of the road.
No, he's just a kid.
I don't know what kind of bike. It's a green one.
Yeah, but he didn't steal it.
But that,
I don't know what you got going on, little man, but he don't need to be grabbing your neck like that.
Before I go to the update, let me remind you of what this incident is about. The white male you see has decided to physically restrain, to choke a black male for not stealing a bike, for perhaps maybe knowing somebody who did, and it's not even his bike. He's talking about it's his friend's bike from his friend's yard. This is insane. So there is an update. Let's put up a picture full mask. Thank you. Milwaukee police are now investigating the incident last week in which a white male was recorded on video accusing a younger black male of stealing a bike while holding him by the throat. Now, he is accused of knowing the person who stole the bike, which is even more insane. While local media has refrained from using his name, as we reported previously, we were able to identify him through commentary and through commentary online. And we know that he's the 62-year-old Robert Allen Wysokowski Sr. According to the Milwaukee Journal Sentinel, police said the incident happened along the 2100 block of South 25th Street. That's in the Leighton Park neighborhood, about 4:40 p.m. on October 10th. They said a 62-year-old man detained a 24-year-old male for allegedly stealing a bicycle. No injuries were reported, and the individuals involved in the video have been identified by the police. Let's go to Mr. Wright. D'Angelo Wright, that is the Good Samaritan.
Hero.
Who decided to stop and record, that's right, and intervene. He was driving down South 25th Street when he saw the two individuals and he decided to do something. While the police are investigating, the police have not indicated anyone has been cited or arrested in connection with the incident. But a department statement Monday said the matter was still being investigated and would eventually be turned over to the Milwaukee County District Attorney's Office for review of any potential charges. So let me go ahead and show you why that's ridiculous. So you mean to tell me that the police can get a video of a criminal assault, they can investigate it, and then when they conclude their investigation, they have already told you we're not gonna make an arrest. Please understand what this means. The police are telling you we are not going to make an arrest. We are going to investigate it, then forward the investigation over to the DA's office. Who do they do that for typically? Police officers. They do that for the cops typically, even though they have jurisdiction to arrest cops at any time. Cops can arrest cops. They usually do not. They will simply investigate, send over a recommendation to the DA's office. So why is this white male receiving the same treatment that a cop in that department would receive? I have questions and I need answers. For you to say that you're not going to investigate and arrest, you're not going to investigate and lock him up once the evidence is conclusive or once you figure out how to seal the indictment, I don't know. But to say I'm going to send it to another investigative agency that has the authority to effect an arrest. That is what they have determined will be the outcome here. All right, Ricky Hale, the young man's uncle, did speak to Fox 6 News saying, and I quote, "Why would you come out in the middle of the street and choke? You don't know if that's a kid or not. You don't even know his age." Hale hopes for justice for his nephew. He's just a person that has a disability. He did not deserve that. He never said he stole the bike. At least 2 protests have been held outside of the older male's home in the week since. One by a community activist named Vaughn Mays. okay? May said the video angered him because it immediately reminded him of recent cases where black men were killed by people trying to detain them without the police around, such as the 2020 racially motivated murder of Ahmaud Arbery in Georgia and the 2012 death of Corey Stingley in West Allis. Now, I have to say this. The reason the cops have not arrested this man at his home, they got video evidence, they have eyewitness testimony. We know the young man did not steal a bike. Why has he not been arrested? Because the police are sending a clear message. They want you to do stuff like this. They want you to do things like this. And if you do, they will do what they can do to protect you. So what will the police do for him? They are refusing to arrest him, at least according to their last statement. They are going to investigate and send it over to the DA's office. It's not how this typically works. If this happened to be a black male who was choking a young white guy for a crime he never committed, for a crime he knew he never committed. This was a black male doing that to a white young male. That police department would have sent SWAT and everybody else into that home. You would not need a protest outside of the home because nobody would be there. He would have been arrested, possibly even denied bail. In the latter case, a black 16-year-old was detained by 3 white adults after being accused of shoplifting. The Milwaukee County Medical Examiner's Office determined that this young person died from suffocation during the struggle. The district attorney's office declined to file charges in that case, arguing 3 adults made a mistake. They had no intention of harming him. Here's the reality of the law. You do not need to form mens rea in order to be charged with a criminal offense. Mens rea simply means you had the intent to commit a crime. You don't need intent to commit a crime. You can have what's called negligence. You can have negligence which lacks intent, but your negligence was so gross and so extreme that you knew or should have known it would lead to injury or death. That eliminates the requirement for intent. So when the DA said, we're not able to file charges because they lacked intent, the DA is saying spin, because you can be charged even if intent is not there, if the actions were egregious enough to cause injury or death. They keep playing these games. These are games. These are games. They don't care about the law. They care about it enough to utilize it to their advantage. They don't care about the purity of application of the law. They don't care about the Constitution. They don't care about statutes. They care about enough of it to manipulate it against you. All right, Jeff, thoughts here.
First of all, again, God bless this D'Angelo Wright for stopping his car when he saw what was going on. His actions could very well have prevented this young man accused of stealing a bike from either getting hurt or getting killed, really. Secondly, the man who had his hands around a young man's neck who is clearly intellectually disabled, he has no amount of compassion or empathy for this individual. To put his hand around his neck for a bike that small, which cannot be more than $100, while kids are saying no, he didn't do anything, he didn't steal the bike. The man who had his hand around that young man's neck said the wrong color of the bike. And again, as you said, Dr. Richey, it wasn't his bike, it was a neighbor's bike.
Right.
All of this is messed up. And so if there's a lack of charges being presented and this man will not get arrested, it only enables people to wrongfully citizens arrest someone and give them power. So another thing, shout out to Vaughn Mays for organizing 2 protests outside of that criminal's house. I don't care if the police are gonna arrest him or not for me to call him a criminal. That's a criminal negligent act, what he did.
Yeah, absolutely.